This is a pre-recorded, and then I'll post it. I think I'm gonna do August. I think I'm gonna post this one in August. So, but we live right now. It's recording, and then once August comes around, because I do them weekly, I'll drop it and let people know it's up. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So Quinn, thank you so much for coming through to the QBC Archives. I'm happy to have you here.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, I wanted to know, like, just tell us a little bit about yourself, your pronouns, your sign, and where you're from.
My pronouns are she, her. I'm from Mississippi, if you can't hear it.
Yeah, I can tell the accent.
My sign is in like my astrology sign.
Yeah, zodiac.
Pisces. I'm Pisces.
Nice.
Yeah. Random funny story. My partner and I met her on Twitter. She lives in DC. That's why I moved here.
Gotcha.
And her birthday is 3/2/88 and mine is 3/3/88. Isn't that weird?
Wow. That is really weird.
Yeah.
That's really
weird. That's like lesbian to a whole new level. Like, we set the standard now. Like, come on, the rest of y'all lesbians. Y'all gotta ramp it up. But yeah. So
that's real.
Yeah, I've been in DC a little bit over 3 months now, about 3 months and a week. I'm a psychotherapist, almost a PhD, as far as that goes. And I have been in mental health for 4 years. I relocated here from Memphis. So I'm from Mississippi, but I was living in Memphis the past 5 years. Yes. And then I had one of my practices, Healing Hearts Counseling Center. And then I rolled over to my own as a sole owner of Magnolia Mental Health while I was there. And I brought Magnolia Mental Health with me up here.
Gotcha.
And I also have two other, a full-time job, a part-time job in my practice.
Good Lord.
So, yeah. Because, mental health, we don't make a lot of money. So, and the cost of living up here is ridiculous. And actually, I made more money in Memphis than I do here. So, in order to supplement my income, I have to do extra shit.
How do you balance that though? That's a lot to be taking on.
So usually I will go to work. I work in, this is my full-time job in Virginia, my part-time job in Maryland, my practice is in DC. So, what I would do is basically I would see my clients I usually see my clients anytime from 5 to 10 p.m. So I have evening sessions. My part-time job, I would do weekends or nights or day shift, 7 to 3. They give me enough time to get back to DC. And then my full-time job, some days I work from home for that. So it's remote. I can do that. And I set my own schedule with it so that I work around my other 2 jobs with my full-time job, actually.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm looking to shorten it up once some things happen as far as transferring my licenses and stuff like that so that I can work one job that pays really, really well instead of several. And I still have my practice. The ultimate goal is within a year, maybe a year, to do private practice completely full time.
Yeah. Yeah, because I commend you, especially for the work that you do. That's a lot. I mean, a lot. So getting into Magnolia Mental Health, and I also seen that you doing the Healing Arts Counseling Center. So how did you come up with the name Magnolia? Because I don't know if it has a certain significance of the flower, or is it just something that came to you?
So Healing Hearts was my practice in Memphis where it was 4 of us. It was a partnership, right? And so when our partnership agreement ended in March, I didn't want to just leave my clients I feel y'all, but I'm out. So I rolled over to private practice, my own. So I rolled my clients over with me. Magnolia Mental Health came from one day I was talking to the person that was, his name is Cameron. On Twitter. Twitter has connected me to amazing people.
Nice.
he lived in Memphis and he wanted to work with me, and we was just at Applebee's one day, you know, like over like unlimited soup.
Yeah, right. Nice.
Applebee's, and I've never told this story before. And we were just trying to come up with like, okay, it was like February. We was like trying to figure out like what will we call my practice. And I wanted something that I didn't know I was moving to DC at that point. And I wanted something that represented me, but I love symbolism. So Mississippi state flower is the magnolia flower. And so I was like, I want something to do with Mississippi. And I just kind of, I guess like the salt from this cheap ass soup was getting to me. I was like, you know, let's just keep it simple, you know. And he was always about like cleanliness and simplicity, because I'm a grand person. And it takes people around me to like, let's winnow that down a little bit. And so ended up with Magnolia Mental Health. And actually the flower that I originally designed for the practice was loud and colorful. It was a pink magnolia. And he was like, girl, no. So, he was like, this don't look good when you transpose it and when you put it on things like that. It looks like let's keep it white, clean, and some. And I love my logo. Like, it's beautiful. Like, he did a great job with it. Shout out to Cameron. And actually, the validation came a couple of weeks ago when I had a new client who had visited the website, and she works in PR and marketing. And she was just like, oh, by the way, like, big time. Like, she worked for a big company. And she was just like, I just want to say, I went to your website. Your website is clean. I did my website one day.
It's
hungover.
It's nice.
Thank you. I was hungover as shit. In the middle of moving. Drinking a limerita. And I was like, well, let me just knock this shit out, you know, because what I had originally designed was so complex and stuff, and it's through Squarespace, so you kind of do it yourself.
Right.
And so let me get something that's cute and simple, and I love like greens. Green's my favorite color, so anything that's blue or green, like I'm gravitated towards, because it's really simple. And I love the image of that flower opening on my website, and I was just like, oh, that's so good. But then my partner was like, that seems sexual, and I'm like, yeah, we're fine. So, you know. But it was she basically was like, I love your website, it's clean, I love the logo. And she was just like, that's something that I look for when I'm looking for to deal with any kind of business. So that was kind of cool to hear.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, it's really simple. It gets straight to the point. It's not like so much stuff all over the place where you can't find information. It's just real clean and nice. I like it too. So how did you get into this field of service? Was it just something that you gravitated to? Is it something that you had an experience growing up? Like, how did you get into mental health?
Well, I originally went to school. I went to Ole Miss undergrad, and I originally wanted to be a corporate lawyer. Like, I just want to be one of those like high stepping bitches, like. And like stilettos, just like walking around telling white men what to do. Like, that's really what I wanted to do. And I have, as far back as I can remember, before going to college, I always wanted to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
And then when I was I was a junior going into my senior year of high school, I did kind of like a summer program where you earn college hours early at Ole Miss. I took Psych 101 and I kind of fell in love with it. And everybody falls in love with Psych 101, right? Because it's Freud and all that. So you're like, you know things now. You don't know shit. When I went back to Ole Miss after I graduated, I went to community college for 8 hours, okay? And I was like, it's not for me. And I left because my professor and I got to arguing about math. And I was right. And I was like, I don't want to. It's not about community college. It was about the community college I was at, you know. Yeah. I was trying to find my mom, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to community college, because she wouldn't let me go to Howard. I got into Harvard, Stanford, and Ole Miss. Okay. Only place that didn't offer me any scholarship. She was just like, if something happened to you, I want you to be close to home. So it worked out for the best, though. But anyway, I got married in college, and so once I started to, me and my ex-husband started to have problems, I did counseling at like the counseling center on campus. And I kind of fell in love with the process. And my mentor, towards the end of my junior year, my second senior year, because I do too, was a psychologist who changed my life forever. And so she's my best friend. I originally wanted to be an international psychologist like her, like work with sex trauma survivors and victims and sex trafficking, especially. Like I was present at the opening of the safe house, the first safe house in Memphis for sex trafficking victims. Like she invited me as her person and gave lectures on it. I taught human sexuality at Ole Miss and multicultural psychology. Like I really want to do that. And then she had a conversation with me one day. She was like, "Oh yeah, you like money, right?" 'Cause she's a hippie white woman, right? Mm-hmm. She taught me about feminism and everything. I learned more about being a Black woman under her than I had ever learned before. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I love that about that. But she was like, "I know you like money, so being an academic doesn't pay anything." Mm-hmm. Like, oh, let me switch to counseling. But nobody told me counseling don't pay money. Yeah. Mental health is not like a field where you can like earn money, like a very high standard of living. But once I did my practicum, which is internship for therapists, you do that at the end of your master's. And so I started doing therapy, my practicum at a clinic in Memphis. And once you actually do the work, I fell in love. And I knew that was what I wanted to do with my life. Mm. And just being in those rooms with people who sharing their deepest, darkest things to you, it can get heavy. But to me, it was so rewarding. And I became kind of addicted to work. I love to counsel. Mm. Also, I like knowing people's business and getting paid. I know good shit. And so it was just kind of a great thing for me to kind of just be able to help people navigate through things and be there for people. But also I really enjoy, like, of the 365 and 1/4 days a year, like 350 days, I enjoy counseling. Mm-hmm. And the only things that I don't enjoy about mental health is how much we get paid. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I love my job.
Mm-hmm. So given that, I mean, what are some of the services that you offer, and what are the methods that you use when counseling your clients through the situations that they go through? Let me see. I just lost the question I had, but I'll get it back once you start. It was just off of what you were saying. Yeah, we'll just do that. What are some of the services that you offer, and one is some of the methods that you do use? Oh, that's what it was. When you're using these methods and when you're talking to these people about like the deepest, darkest stuff that they have coming, like how do you rejuvenate from that? Because that's a lot, that's heavy. So what do you do to like come back from that?
So some of the services I offer are, I do group therapy, although I have not established group here. And I'm looking to do that. So I have a lot of clients who are virtual. Okay. Clients all over the world, which I think is kind of cool.
Nice.
And so a lot of my clients are, and I'm sure we'll get to that, like gender nonconforming or trans. Mm-hmm. And so group therapy there, you have to be careful because you don't want to re-traumatize people, because people's different gender experiences are different. And you just have to screen very carefully about group. And that's where I have an advantage, because when I started my practicum, it was in group therapy. Mm-hmm. two times a week, 2 hours each day.
Okay.
And with 8 to 10 individuals, all adults. And so it just kind of taught me a lot about how to manage and screen for appropriateness within groups. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I do group. I've done individual, of course. That's what I do mostly. Family sessions, I do that a lot with my jobs. And couples, I do that a lot too. And that's really fun for me. Mm-hmm. I love couples. And sometimes when it's more than one client in a session, I usually pull another therapist in with me. So it might be co-staffed. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important because let's say I'm doing a couple session with my individual client. So my client wants to pull in their partner for a session. Let's say their partner has a therapist. It's important for both of us to be present so one client doesn't feel like I'm taking sides or something like that.
Right.
And for family sessions, sometimes depending on what's going on, you need more than one therapist.
Wait, hold up. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah. Like, you know, you need a whistle too sometimes. But, you know, like if it's kids, now kids are not my specialty. So at my old practice, Healing Hearts Counseling Center, Carol was a child psychologist. So Carol, come on, we're doing a family session. You do that, and I will manage the adults while she's managing the children because, again, that's not my specialty.
Right.
So those are the services I offer. The modalities I use depend on the client. So I'm trained in CBT, DBT, TFCBT, TGCT, experiential, somatic, and I'm motivational interviewing, everybody get that. Experiential, somatic, narrative. I've done some narrative. So most therapists go to CBT. That's boring to me. I do mostly DBT and experiential because that's where I started. Mm-hmm. Those are my comfort zones. So it depends on the client. So if I have a client who has presenting mostly with anxiety and PTSD, I'm going to use DBT because those are grounding skills that help them calm their anxiety. And it's useful for them in the moments where they're having, because I can send them a worksheet like, hey, you know, when you're having invading thoughts, here's some coping skills. Mm-hmm. And I'm absent. If I have a client who
what does DBT stand for?
Oh, dialectical behavior therapy.
Okay.
Mindfulness based. So breathing, relaxing, grounding skills, things like that. And it's really good. You know, it helps in the moment. Whereas CBT, you cannot rationalize anxiety. That is the And CBT often misses the mark on that. So that's where DBT is useful, because if my client is getting ready to have a panic attack, I would just say, all right, what is the invading thought that's behind the anxiety? If you can get there. Okay. And then DBT will just be like, okay, well, here's a counter thought to kind of help you with that. But DBT will also do like, here's some breathing. Let's do these breathing reps real quick. Let's think about, I have all my clients come up with something called a resource. So it's something external that they can carry on their person that's small and innocuous enough where when they're overwhelmed, they can kind of like touch that or feel that or smell it. Mm-hmm. So that leads into your next question, which was, how do I ground myself when I'm in the middle of like heavy sessions and things like that? Sometimes I'm at home now, so I'm not doing anything, but I usually have on a ring. Mm-hmm. And it's the me and my partner exchange, and I like to rub it because it makes me calm. Mm-hmm. It's the texture of it. I often wear a scarf with my favorite perfume on it, which is different from what I'm wearing on my person, because if I lean into my scarf and I smell that, it helps remind me of happier things.
Wow.
Feeling overwhelmed emotionally, I do those things and I calm down. And I tell my clients to do that too. So my clients will come up with things like a bracelet or their favorite kind of jeans. If they know they're going into a high stress situation, have something that helps ground you so that in the moment when it happens, you can have something to just like bring you down if you cannot do it for yourself.
Wow.
If you can't. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to kind of clear that energy. I've never really thought about something like that. You know how like a kid, sometimes if they're scared, they'll cling to a blanket, like maybe a blanket or a teddy bear that they really like. Like as adults, I think we tend to forget like certain things that calm us down, you know. That's interesting. Nice.
Yeah. And I mean, the other things I do, I play Xbox. I like to eat. I used to, when I was home and it was very available, I would eat crawfish. So something about the repetition and just breaking it up kind of calms me down. It's really monotonous. So I'm just like, blah, blah, blah. And it clears everything for me. Or watching political shows, because that has nothing to do with nothing I have going on usually. Mm-hmm. My partner also helps keep me accountable because she helps like put parameters around how much I work. Mm. And like, you know, if I'm just on the phone, I'm like, yeah, I'll do a session right now. She's like, no, you're not, you know.
Not
you know, like, yeah.
Not today.
And my assistant as well, Janae, like Khadijah and Janae, like they keep me accountable. And, you know, it's good to have people like that because I work all day, every day.
Right.
If I could. And, you know, having people around me that's like, no, you're all right.
Right.
So
just chill for a second. You can take a day off. You can take some energy.
A day off just seems so foreign to me. And I just feel like, this is what other people do. Like, I be so damn bored. I just be like, oh my God, I need to. So I'll start cleaning, which is my other coping thing. But it becomes passive aggressive because I'm just cleaning up behind everybody. And they're like, no, I just need to relax. This is me relaxing. They're like, you're retiling things. Like, you know, so yeah. I'm a lot. I am aware that my partner puts up with a lot. So yeah.
I got you. So one of your goals I seen was to bring awareness to stigmatized issues in marginalized communities. Now, I posted something on the QBC Instagram, Queer Black Creatives Instagram, that Daniel Marvin posted on Twitter, and I quote, "Black children drown in depression and cannot even talk to their families about it." And then Cher Roman commented under the text and was like, this is just a little mini excerpt. It wasn't the whole thing that was shared, but it was like, most have shared with me that homes aren't safe spaces for self-expression and their parents aren't people that they can talk to. So with marginalized and stigmatism that we face, in, especially in the Black community when it comes to depression, how do you combat that? Like, because I know in my experience, it is true when it comes to the issues and mental issues that we deal with within the Black community. It's just kind of like it's pushed to the side, like, oh, you know, pray about it, which is not saying it's a bad thing, but it's just like, it's just pushed to the back of the bus. Like, it's like we need to bring these issues to the front so we can talk about them, discuss them, and figure out ways that we can combat them instead of just pushing it to the side like it's nothing. So what do you say about that? How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, that's my experience as well. I didn't grow up in a home that was conducive to mental health, healthy mental health. So I think that, so I'm going to speak as far as like adults, because again, kids is not my specialty. Now I do work with kids in my regular jobs, but when I work with children, it's mostly about having them find coping skills, because adults forget that kids are people too, quite a bit.
Yeah.
And an old saying that was in my house was, you don't pay no bills, you ain't got no feelings. And so, you know, learning to, and even as a mother myself, learning to like disengage from that harmful way of thinking has been a journey. And with the kids that I do counsel, what I find is like find a coping skill that's appropriate for their age. So if it's my teenagers, usually music is their thing, you know, music or art. With my younger children is coloring, and I do with adults too. And I found like the synergy between both of those, like kids and adults, they just like to color. But so when it comes to kids and stuff, like it's about finding them a creative outlet where, first of all, they'll feel comfortable talking to you. This relationship is essential to any kind of treatment you're gonna do. And I think kids are especially cautious because they don't know you. And they also don't have the language to say, I am depressed. And so you have to see what depression looks like in that specific child, because it looks different for every child. And you have to like take away like, okay, this is not related to them not having food or like whatever, like a social or environmental financial context. Like, this isn't puberty related, this is actual depression. So it takes a whole lot of level and skill and attention when you're treating children. Now with adults, undoing a lot of that codependency around like, I'm going to keep everything in and I'm just going to be a good person to other people. I don't want to talk to anybody because I never learned how to do that. That is a lot of work. And I found that it's more difficult with Black women because our depression is higher than white, well, any other race of women. Our depression looks different too, though.
Right.
And our codependency is extremely high. So ours is rooted in something called other esteem. Things like what other people see, like what we have, degrees, accolades, stuff like that. Accolades, as Nene Leakes say. You know, ours is rooted in those kind of things. And so for Black women, like if, and I have codependency as well. So when I lost my job, my self-worth left with that loss. You know, like I didn't feel worthy or like a good person or like I was worth anything as soon as I lost my job, because I had tied my entire identity to around things I had. The things I had were able to help me do things for other people. And so you do things for other people because you feel empty. Like, okay, if I stop working, that hard, independent woman doing for herself and all, that entire trope is simply about, if I stop for a moment and I deal with simply just me, I am going to realize that something is wrong here.
Wow.
And that is extremely alarming. So we do everything for everybody else. And I've seen a rise in Black women seeking therapy. Now, the problem is there are not enough clinicians qualified to treat Black women's how our depression looks. Now, Black men's depression is major, but it looks different. And again, it's about clinicians being experienced enough. So therapy is dominated by white men, like, you know, white men and white women. So, and especially, and most of them are middle age. I don't know a whole lot of young Black therapists. Like, I'm 29. So I know maybe 5 therapists around my age. And that's a lot, you know, like to know, like, who can adequately hear and understand my experiences. I understand why Black people are hesitant to go to therapy, because there are not enough people that look like us in the field to understand. Why would I go talk to somebody where I have to explain why I'm depressed? That's not the client's job.
Right.
So with when it comes to households, like, it's a generational thing. And people forget therapy is relatively new. Like, therapy came around in like the early, mid 20th century. Psychology has been around forever, but therapy relatively new. And we didn't have access to that. And Black people did do therapy, but just not in a traditional sense. So we talked to pastors, we had barbershops, beauty salons, places where we felt comfortable, old grandmamas, you know, places where we felt comfortable talking to people, but they didn't have any official training.
Right.
And now that we have that, there is an influx of young Black clinicians coming out of school. And that's why I only hire minorities to work for me. And I think that that's important for us to find identity in those people. I think once we get more clinicians that look like and recognize the symptoms of Black people's depressions, we will see a decline in Black people having depression. But I think the burden is on the professional organizations to be in those communities, to learn, like, okay, if Black women are smiling, they working every day, they working 3-4 jobs, 80-hour weeks, that's a symptom of depression.
Yeah.
Codependent, like all of that. Like, you need to know the community that you're working for. And too often I've even applied to communities where they were in Black and brown neighborhoods, but none of the clinicians were of color. And I called them out on it. And they were just, and I present as urban. And so, you know, they're just like, oh, you know, like you're not I don't look like a traditional therapist. I got visible tattoos. I like loud makeup. I, you know, am
yourself.
Yeah. I am who I am. And I like big hair, big things. I dress like a punky rooster. Like, I like colors.
Yeah.
And so I don't look like how a lot of therapists look like, and I don't apologize for that. But when I walk into certain kind of organizations, I know like, I ain't gonna get this job. So they're gonna validate this part, so, and you do that. But then it pisses me off though, when those kind of jobs are in communities with who look like me. I am an asset to your company. I would be able to see the client where they are. Don't nobody won't tell no old white man their business. Like, well, as a black woman, just let's not even like consider like any of my gender or sexuality or anything extra other than race and gender. I'm sitting in front of a white cis man. What the hell he gonna be able to relate to me about?
Right.
Then I'm American. What the fuck? Like, being American is one of my problems. Like, this is oppression, like, for me. So I think, again, like, the burden is on the mental health community to reach out to communities that need us. And when you reach out, you need to have clinicians who either look like it or represent that population or understand the needs of that population. I got long-winded because that's my passion.
Yeah,
like I get
and on top of that, you're a Pisces, so the passion it's like it's fueling. That's my rising sign, so I know it's like. But let's talk about it real quick.
Yeah, I don't know enough about astrology. I just know when I was born and somebody told me I was a Pisces, so I didn't know.
But passion. That is passion. That is a passionate sign right there. So I can understand. So I know you said that, in order to kind of, I guess, expand on the needs of, with just mental health in general, we would need, people who represent us, look like us, and then people who understand. But what kind of healing for people who don't have the opportunity to go to school or get a license in what it is that they do? What kind of healing practices do you think will be beneficial for people who are dealing with just dealing with mental health issues, period, that maybe aren't able to go and get a degree at this specific time or go and get a license at this specific time? Like, what do you think are some of the things or ways people can do as groups, not individuals, but groups, to help?
I think it's good that we're finally acknowledging, like, the cultural silence is a problem. So once we pull that curtain down and we see like who really behind it, like Oz was weird, weirdo. But once we finally acknowledge like these issues that are going on in our community, like that's the first step. Like that's a great step, because Black people have dismissed depression. And we do, but it's a smaller, like the percentages are becoming smaller. Okay. We are recognizing like symptoms and, like what pathology looks like within our own communities. And I think that's the first step. The next step would be, okay, yeah, everybody is not a licensed professional and we don't have people in those communities that are able to go to school all the times. But I think it's important for us to learn how to self-care, whatever that looks like for you. And that is an individualized thing. Like we can't like apply self-care to a group as a whole, other than probably awareness. Like we can make a general concept, but I think it's important for everybody to kind of learn what can ground you, what can relax you, and to recognize what depression look like. Know the symptoms. You gotta be no professional, know how to Google.
Right.
So, learn the symptoms. What depression, anxiety, psychosis, the difference between drug-induced psychosis. So substance abuse is the big one. So learn the difference between substance abuse and depression. And a lot of times they co-occur. So, it's important for people to just kind of educate themselves the best way that they can. Because again, everybody don't have access to any of these things. So whatever you can learn, and just be gentle. If somebody says, or somebody showing alarming signs to you that they might be thinking of self-harming or harming somebody else, be gentle versus being confrontational. because again, if there's no mental health or medical professional that can intervene, you're the line of defense for that. So it's important for you to just kind of learn how to be empathetic, and for us to just really learn what it looked like for us. Depression or any kind of symptomology is not one size fits all by no means. I got 15 clients with PTSD. It look different in almost all of them. So, you know, it's just important for us to just kind of learn like what these things mean. Even if you don't have like the clinical terms for them, like, she's having a good day. What can I do to be nice to her? You know.
Right. So. I like that. And thank you again for the work that you do. That's incredible work, and something that's really needed right now. Really needed. I seen that tweet.
The viral tweet, guys. Yeah, that tweet is just big because that happened over a month ago, and it's like, where the hell does this come from? I was just chilling one day, like la 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 la, you know, and it's just like, damn, out of nowhere, and I'm like,
I was like, this is so nasty. It's so nasty. Y'all follow a country counselor on on Twitter.
Yeah, it went viral on Facebook, which is way worse, you know. I mean, and I'm like, oh my god. And I looked, and I was like, 20,000 shares. Oh, and I did the wrong thing. I read the comments, and I'm just, you know, like, like I know, you know, ghetto. I was called everything, you know. And it fucking sucks, but at the same time, that white boy was gonna work, because what you're not gonna do is try to. And what people didn't see outside the screenshot was what he said before and after.
Yep.
And so that's why everybody was like, you know,
right.
Lay the fuck out, you know. And so it was cool. But, you know, now it's like, I have people telling me, Quinn, maybe you should be more professional.
No, I was over here. To me, that is professional. Like, most people would just see that and just go to the side, you know what I mean? And you wouldn't even come at him or anybody. He just came talking that trash, and then, hey,
I wasn't even talking to him.
Right.
What are you talking to him?
He was a troll. He was a full troll. Like, why not?
And my thing is just that so often, like, white men feel like they can say whatever the hell that they want to say on the internet. And I'm tired of it. And to me, is defending the people that I treat, their mental health. So, PTSD about racial and cultural issues. I'm sorry, as a white cis man, you don't understand that. But it wasn't about you. Race-based traumatic stress injury is PTSD for Black people. Right. Now, it ain't DSM-5 yet, because DSM-5 be on this shit. But it's true.
Yeah.
There's been extensive research and study about it. And I'm not going to argue with you about it because, and this is going to sound elitist as fuck, but I know more things than you. If you're going to argue with me about things, know more than me. And I know for a fact you don't in this situation, because you would have recognized that, oh, PTSD ain't just for vets. And that's right. Vets make up a very, very small percentage. So think about this. Vets make up a small percentage of the American population, period. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't they then make up an even smaller percentage of persons' diagnosis in America? Mm-hmm. Now, yes, veterans overwhelmingly have a high percentage of PTSD within their population. But see, these two different things. And so if you can't walk and chew gum at the same time, I'm already, you done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Take Top Chronicles and shit. But, you know, it just pissed me off because I'm like, how dare you like insinuate I don't know anything?
Right.
And it just did something to me. And then seeing all the other people that have said things about me since then, it's just been like, Facebook. Remember, it's Facebook. That's where a lot of
you just said what you had to say. A lot of people do stigmatize. I won't even say stigmatize, but they do associate PTSD only with vets. Like that's a big thing, not knowing that post-traumatic stress disorder is a universal thing. People go through post-traumatic stress disorder every single day. So I was glad that you said something about that, because some people just, that's all they think. Oh, well, you've never been to war. It's like, it's a little bit more than war, boo. You know, it's a little bit more than war. You know what I mean? So kudos to you for that.
Yeah, that tweet has been, like, when I first tweeted it to him, it went viral. And it was amazing because it went viral on Tumblr, and I don't know Tumblr. I don't know you.
Wow, you know, it really went viral if it went on Tumblr.
Yeah. So that's where it started, and then it migrated back to Twitter, and then now a month later, of course, in usual fashion, it's on Facebook. And so, you know, it's just kind of like, okay, deal with it. And I'm a different kind of therapist. You know, I'm not like on the internet, like tweeting like positive, and my practice account does that stuff. Me, I am me, and people come seek out my services because of who I am. I brand Quinn, and you know that can rub up a different way for some kind of people, because therapists are supposed to be, you know, like quiet, meek, modest. I assume probably wear glasses or some shit, sweaters, whatever else. That's not who I am.
Yeah.
And the person influences Quinn of therapy because I care so much and I do so much work. And so what you're not gonna do is talk shit to me on my own timeline.
Right.
Al Gore in it.
I said. Nene Lee.
Yeah. And what you said was some bullshit. Right. And you know, so it's just, but that tweet has just been straight for the past week.
Word. That's word. So what do you got upcoming? Like anything? Definitely, I think you should check out, since you're in DC, Honey Group DC is coming up September 2016. And I know that they're always looking for vendors. I'll send you the information for that. But I feel like you could definitely, you vending there would definitely be great. I think that would be
so I'm trying to work on this project where, and this is the first time I've probably said it like on camera or whatever, where I can provide therapy, because I already do free therapy for trans and Muslim persons, right? I am working on like getting a grant or funding to provide free therapy for 1 year to 20 Black women.
Wow.
And I want to be able to do that. So it will be bi-weekly. So it's 52 weeks. So there's 26 sessions for 20 Black women in the DC area. I want to do that. And I'm just kind of figuring out like, okay, well, whatever I start that. And yeah, that's my biggest thing that I'm working on right now. Trying to just kind of get used to the area, like chill. I feel like my brand is kind of established. I feel good about where I am professionally. And I think that it's important for me to grow from here. Memphis became very comfortable for me. Now that I'm here in the city, I'm feeling anxious, but in a good way. Because I'm encountering so many different kind of clients and people that want my services where I can't accept anybody right now. Like I'm booked. I'm booked, you know, like, you know, like Kelly Price, you know, like, you know, at the same time, I want to expand. So I'm looking into ways to do that and just like expanding services to be able to have an office in Virginia. Well, not Virginia, because Virginia would get that shit about licensing, but Maryland. So, you know, but that's my main goal right now is free therapy for 1 year for 20 Black women. And I feel like starting next month, I'll start rolling out like projects and stuff related to that, talking about that. And then like creating a forum for online group therapy for trans persons. That's a big thing. To be able to hear and connect other experiences from other people. Because as a cis person, it's only so much I can do, even as a therapist who specializes in gender identity. I think sometimes it's important for my clients who are trans, they feel so isolated in their experiences, especially because they live in different parts of the country, that it's important for them to get together and in a therapeutically facilitated conversation, discuss their different experiences. And I would like that to be like a very specific group. So that's something else I'm working on right now. And I'm also writing a therapeutic curriculum, kind of like group or a seminar or whatever for couples using Lemonade and 444. So writing that right now. Yes. So, you know, just trying to find a way, but I already incorporate music therapy into my sessions anyway. So I ask my clients, I'm like, what do you think about that? And that's a big thing, you know. So I'm just trying to get together with a friend of mine and we write some stuff out, and I think that would be great because she specializes in couples, whereas I specialize in sexuality and like trauma. So coincide in coupleships a lot, and so trying to work on that with her. So I think that's the stuff I'm working on. I'm always working on some. So
yeah, I see.
Accomplished all my goals. I'm 29 now. I'm bored as shit. So I'm like, what's next?
Right.
So yeah, that's my. I guess probably one day finish my relationship book. I have a couples workbook. I bought the graphics. I'm on like page 30 of it. But every time I look at it, I'll be like, hey, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And like 5 months later.
Like, I'll work on this maybe a couple months, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, take your time with it. Have fun with it too.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the work that you're putting out. Something, especially when it comes to mental health. Mental health is something that we need in this community, outside of the community, around the world. So thank you so much for coming and doing this interview. Like, I really, really do appreciate it. I'm excited to what you got coming. So keep QBC posted.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for inviting me. I'm excited.
Me too.
But yeah, so I love it. I'm really happy with what I did. I guess this is it. So yeah.
Well, yeah. Keep me posted, Quinn, and I'll let you know when this drops. But if you need anything, once I get some stuff going, I'll let you know. And then we'll definitely link up and see where everything goes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely. If I fake doing stuff in DC all the time, like outside. So once it get cooler, let me know and we can like.
I got you.
Yeah, I like that.
I got
so yeah.
I got you, Quinn. Well, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon. I had to see what time.
Yeah, you too. Bye.